At ADX Florence, mornings do not begin with sunlight. They begin with silence. Deep, heavy silence. Most prisons wake up to voices, doors slamming, and guards shouting orders. But in this place, the most locked-down prison in the United States, sound itself feels trapped. The thick walls, steel doors, and long concrete tunnels swallow everything. So when an inmate opens his eyes, he hears almost nothing at all, just his own breath and the faint hum of air moving through vents. But today is different. Today is his last day in ADX Florence. Not because he is being set free. Very few people ever walk straight out of ADX and into the outside world. Most go to another prison first. A lower security place. A place with more people, more movement, and more noise. A place where life feels like life again. But before any of that can happen, he must live through these next few hours. The final hours inside the quietest prison in America. And even though he has dreamed of this day for years, now that it is here, it feels unreal, almost scary. For many years, his world has been the same. A small concrete room with a bed, a desk, a toilet, a sink, a tiny window facing the sky, and a door made of steel. The window lets in a little light, but not much. He cannot see people. He cannot see the yard. He cannot see the fence. Only a piece of the sky, like a picture torn out of a larger one. The guards follow strict rules. They do not stand around and chat. They do not linger. They do not ask how your day is. ADX is designed so that staff do not get too close to the inmates, and inmates do not get close to each other. Everything is distance. Everything is separation. Most inmates spend 23 hours alone every day, year after year. Only 1 hour outside the cell, alone in a small concrete pen. This is why ADX is sometimes called the Alcatraz of the Rockies. Because nothing gets in, nothing gets out. Not sound, not air, not people, not freedom. But today, for the first time in years, something will get out. Him. He sits up on his bed, slowly, as if his body needs time to understand the change. His heart beats a little faster than normal. His hands rest on his knees, and he stares at the door. He knows what comes next, but he still feels unsure. A last day in ADX is not like a last day in a normal prison. You don't pack up your things and walk out with cheers. You don't shake hands with friends. You don't get a goodbye meal in the cafeteria. In fact, you barely see anyone at all. A guard's voice comes through the slot in the door. Stand by for movement. Those 4 words mean everything. He takes a deep breath and waits. The sound of keys echoes outside. Even that small sound feels loud in a place this quiet. The guard slides open the slot. A pair of handcuffs appears. Hands back, the guard says. This is the way every movement works in ADX. Before the door opens, even for a doctor's visit or a shower, hands must go through the slot. The cuffs click around his wrists. The sound is sharp, metallic, and final. A reminder of where he is. The door opens. The hallway outside is long and dim, painted in neutral colors. Cameras watch from every angle. 2 guards stand waiting, wearing gloves and thick belts with tools. They do not look angry. They do not look friendly. They look professional, because that's the only way this place stays under control. 1 guard steps forward. You know the drill. Face the wall. He turns and faces the cold concrete. A guard secures the chain that connects his handcuffs to a thick metal belt around his waist. Then leg irons are locked around his ankles. Every movement in ADX is done this way, slow, controlled by the rules. When everything is secure, the guard speaks again. Let's go. They walk. His steps are short because of the chains, but he keeps moving. He has walked this hallway many times before, but today feels different. Today he is not going to the shower or the rec yard. Today he is going to medical and mental health checks, to staff briefings, to paperwork reviews. These are part of the exit process required before leaving ADX. As they turn a corner, he passes other steel doors, other cells. Each one holds a person he has never met, though some have been only a few feet away for years. At ADX, people can live entire sentences without ever seeing their neighbor's face. At the medical room, a nurse checks his blood pressure, listens to his heartbeat, and asks him a series of questions. How are you sleeping? Any changes in mood? Any thoughts you want to talk about? These are standard questions. ADX is required to check mental and physical health before a transfer. The nurse's voice is calm and even. She does not smile too much, but she is kind. She knows inmates leaving ADX often feel overwhelmed. Some are excited. Some are scared. Some are confused. After years of silence, even normal life can feel like a storm. He answers quietly, "I'm okay." Then comes the mental health staff. A counselor sits across from him at a steel desk. There is a thick glass panel between them. "You will be moving to a different institution," she explains. "There will be more people, more noise, more time outside. It will feel different." He nods. Different is an understatement. For some inmates, stepping out of ADX is like stepping into another world. A world with voices, a world with movement, a world with choices. "You might feel overwhelmed," she says. "That is normal." He nods again. The counselor continues. "Do you understand what the next few days will be like?" "Yes," he says softly. She studies him. "Is there anything you're worried about?" He hesitates. What is he supposed to say? That he's scared? That he doesn't remember what a crowded room feels like? That even hearing footsteps in the hallway sometimes makes his heart race? "I'll be fine," he says. She writes something down, then nods. "Okay, we will make sure the next facility knows your needs." When the session ends, the guards escort him out again. Next comes the property review. A small room, a metal table, a list. Most ADX inmates do not own much. A few books, legal papers, letters, maybe a small radio or photos. Over the years, his pile of property has grown tiny. Life in ADX is simple, not by choice, but by design. The officer checks each item. "You'll get this when you arrive," the officer says. Each item goes into a bag. Finally, they return him to his cell. The door closes. The chains come off. For a moment, he stands in the center of the room, rubbing his wrists where the cuffs pressed into his skin. This cell has been his world. Now it is only a memory. He sits down on the bed. Outside the small window, a patch of sky shows faint hints of morning. He cannot see the sun, but he knows it's rising. He tries to imagine what sunrise will look like at the next place. Maybe it will be brighter. Maybe he will see more than a piece of the sky. Hours pass slowly. He hears footsteps far away in the hallway. He hears the sound of metal rolling over concrete. Maybe someone else is being moved. Maybe staff are preparing transport equipment. Every sound today feels louder than normal, as if the world is waking up around him. A guard arrives at the door. "Transport in 10. This is it." His heart beats faster. Not from fear, not from excitement, but from something deeper, a feeling that sits somewhere between hope and uncertainty. He stands as the guards enter. Cuffs, belt, leg irons, all the same steps as before. But this time, there is a large black transport box with his property in it. There is a cart. There is paperwork. There are more guards. More eyes. More caution. They walk him down the hallway again. At the final door, a gate slides open with a heavy mechanical sound. This is the transfer exit, not the place where inmates go for showers or rec yard. This is the door that leads outside the inner world of ADX. The guards position him in a small holding room. A chair is bolted to the floor. He sits. The chains clink softly. A supervisor stands in front of him. "You know the rules for transport?" the supervisor asks. "Yes. You will stay restrained the entire time. There will be no contact with anyone outside the transport team. Do you understand?" "Yes." "You will go from here to the van, and then to the next institution. You will be monitored the entire way." Another nod. The supervisor looks at the paperwork, then at him. "Any questions before we move?" He thinks for a moment. "Will it be loud?" he asks quietly. The supervisor pauses, not mocking him, not surprised, simply human for a moment. "There will be more noise than you're used to," the supervisor says. "But it will be okay." The guard signals. It's time. The door opens. Cold air hits his face. It is the first real breath of outside air he has felt in years. Not filtered through vents. Not warmed by the building. Not flattened by concrete. Real air. Crisp. Raw. Free. The sunlight feels bright, even though it is still early. His eyes blink fast. Tears threaten to form. Not because he is sad, but because the light is so strong his eyes can't handle it. The guards guide him toward the transport van. The metal steps clang under his feet. Inside, there are steel seats and thick bars. He sits. The door shuts behind him with a final, echoing slam. It is not freedom, but it is movement. And in ADX, movement means everything. As the van starts to roll forward, he looks at the small window. Behind him, the high concrete walls and razor wire of ADX Florence fade into the distance. For years, this place held him in silence. Now he is leaving that silence behind. But he is not ready for what comes next. Not yet. Because after years inside the quietest prison in America, the loud world outside is waiting. And it will hit him harder than he ever imagined. The van rolls down the long road that leads away from ADX Florence. The prison grows smaller behind him until it is only a shape in the distance, then nothing at all. But even with the walls gone from sight, the memory of them stays heavy in his chest. Inside the van, the air feels tight. The chains around his waist rattle softly each time the van hits a bump in the road. He tries to sit still, but his heart will not calm down. Every sound feels sharper than normal. The hum of the engine, the squeak of the tires, the breathing of the guards in the front seats. For years, he lived in near silence. Now, every tiny noise feels huge. He looks out the small window near his seat. The world outside moves quickly: trees, rocks, mountains, and open sky. It all flashes by like scenes from a movie he has not watched in a long time. His eyes try to follow everything, but he keeps losing track. His mind cannot decide what to focus on. The sky is wide. The world is bright. There is too much to take in at once. After about an hour, the van slows down and turns onto a highway. Cars race past them. Their engines roar. The wind rushes loud against the metal walls of the van. He flinches without meaning to. His shoulders tense. In ADX, noise meant danger. Here, noise means life. But his brain does not know the difference yet. He closes his eyes and tries to breathe slowly, just like the counselor taught him. He counts each breath. 1, 2, 3. The noise does not stop, but he can control how he reacts to it. At least a little. Finally, after many miles, the van turns off the highway and pulls through a set of gates. This is the next institution. Not as strict as ADX, but still a high-security federal prison. A place where inmates spend more time out of their cells. A place with people, voices, and movement. The gates open, and the van rolls forward. He feels the pressure in his chest grow stronger. He is not afraid of the inmates here. He is afraid of the noise. The guards exit the van first. Then they open the back door. Sunlight pours in again, bright and strong. A guard climbs inside and clips a short chain to his waist. "Watch your step," the guard says. He steps down slowly. The ground feels unfamiliar. The open space feels strange, too open. He keeps his head down as they guide him toward the entrance of the facility. Cameras are everywhere. Fences stretch high above him. But even with all the security, this place feels almost wild compared to ADX. At the door, an officer waits. "Inmate transfer," the escorting guard says. The officer nods and checks the paperwork. "Bring him in." Inside the building, the noise hits him like a wave. Doors clanging. Voices echoing. Radios crackling. Footsteps moving fast. His body stiffens. He tries not to show fear, but his eyes widen on their own. He scans the room like someone trying to understand a new language. He knows prisons. He has lived in them for years. But this is different. For the first time in a long time, he can hear many people in one place. People talking. People arguing. People joking. People laughing. The sound bounces off the walls, mixes, and grows stronger. He is overwhelmed. The guards guide him to a holding area. A metal bench sits against the wall. They tell him to sit. He obeys. His chains rattle softly again. A nurse enters the room. "We need to redo medical intake," she says kindly. "It won't take long." The process feels familiar, but the environment is not. She checks his eyes, his ears, his blood pressure, his pulse. She asks questions about medications and old injuries. Then she asks something he expected. "Are you feeling anxious?" He hesitates, then nods. "Yes." "How bad is it?" she asks. He tries to think of the right words. "It's loud." She gives a slow, understanding nod. "That's normal. Many inmates from ADX struggle with sound at first. We'll take it step by step, okay?" He nods again. After the medical check, a counselor comes in with a tablet and a thick folder. "I'm here for your intake interview," she says. She sits across from him and speaks in a calm voice. "You've spent many years in a very quiet place," she begins. "Here, things will feel different. But we will help you adjust." He keeps his eyes on the floor. "Do you know what to expect here?" she asks. He shrugs. "Not really." "Well," she says gently, "you'll spend more time outside your cell. You'll have more contact with other inmates. You'll hear more talking, more movement, more noise. It might feel like too much at times." He nods slowly. "If you start to feel overwhelmed," she continues, "you can speak with us. We will help you build a routine." He nods again. The counselor writes a few notes, then stands. "Welcome to your new facility," she says. "Someone will take you to your cell shortly." After she leaves, two guards return. They rise him to his feet and guide him through another hallway. This hallway has windows overlooking the yard. The yard is empty right now, but even empty, it feels huge. He stops without meaning to. His eyes lock on the space. Grass, concrete, fences, open air. So much space. He feels dizzy for a moment, as if the world is too big to understand. His eyes water again from the brightness, but the guards think nothing of it. Many inmates react this way their first time out of ADX. "Let's keep moving," one guard says. They turn into another hallway. Voices get louder. Someone laughs down the hall, a loud, carefree laugh that echoes. The sound hits him like an unexpected blast of wind. He freezes. The guard notices. "You okay?" He nods, even though he is not okay. He will adjust. He has to. They reach a door with a small metal plate showing a number. The guard unlocks it and guides him inside. This will be his cell for now. It is bigger than the one at ADX. Still small, but bigger. There is a real window here, not just a slit in the wall. A bed, a desk, a toilet, a sink, a shelf, and most importantly, he can hear other people. Muffled voices through the walls. A door closing somewhere far away. Someone calling out. Someone laughing again. He feels like he is underwater. The noises feel thick and heavy, but also alive. A guard removes the chains. "You'll stay here until classification is done," he says. "You'll get orientation soon." The guard steps out and locks the door. Silence returns. Not the same silence as ADX. This one is lighter, thinner, mixed with distant human sounds. He sits on the bed and rests his hands on his lap. He breathes slowly, trying to let his mind settle. After a few minutes, a voice calls out from a nearby cell. "New guy." He jumps. The voice sounds close, even though it is not. He does not answer. He does not know what to say. He has not spoken to another inmate in years. Another voice joins in. Yeah, he's new. Probably from the max. He stares at the wall, silent. Someone laughs again. But he ain't used to the noise yet. More laughter. He feels heat rise in his face. Not anger, just confusion and stress. He knows they are not trying to scare him. They are just talking. But talking itself feels foreign to him. He lies down. The ceiling feels too far away. The room feels too open. He closes his eyes. Hours pass. Voices come and go. Some loud, some soft, some angry, some playful. This is normal prison life. But for him, after years of being shut away in a world made of walls and silence, it feels like someone turned the volume of the world all the way up. When dinner comes, a tray slides into his cell. He eats slowly. The smell of food that is not from ADX feels strange. The taste is different. The texture is different. Even the color looks different. Everything today feels different. When lights dim for nighttime, the prison gets quieter, but not silent. He can still hear low voices through the walls. Not enough to understand words, just enough to remind him he is not alone. He lies in bed, staring at the window. He sees the moon. Not a slice of sky. A real moon, full and bright. He has not seen it like this in a long time. His chest tightens again, but this time for a different reason. Not fear, not stress. Something like hope. But hope feels dangerous too. He takes a deep breath and lets his eyes close. Tomorrow, he will meet more inmates. Tomorrow, he will hear more sound. Tomorrow, he will walk into the yard. He does not know it yet, but the yard will be the biggest shock of all. Because after years locked away alone, being around people again will feel like standing in a storm. The sun begins to rise over the tall mountains around ADX Florence. The sky turns soft orange, and the prison wakes up slowly. But inside one cell, a man sits on his bed knowing this sunrise is different. It's the last one he will ever see from behind these concrete walls. For years, he woke up to the same routine. Silent mornings, steel doors, no voices, no choices, and no freedom. But today the silence feels strange, almost too big. For the first time in decades, he must decide how to breathe, how to move, and how to think about a world that no longer knows him. He stands up, looks around his cell, and slowly places his hands on the concrete walls. He had seen these walls for so long that they almost felt like part of him. Now he is leaving them behind. Some inmates feel joy in this moment. Some feel fear. But most feel both at the same time. A voice cracks over the speaker in the hallway. Stand by for movement. He knows those words by heart. But today, they mean something completely different. A small team of officers walks toward his cell. These officers are trained for the highest-risk prisoners in the country. Their steps are slow, steady, and controlled. They don't shout. They don't rush. Everything is calm. The door unlocks with a heavy clank. One officer gently explains the process, just like they do for every release. He tells the inmate what will happen next, where he will go, what to expect, and what choices he will need to make once he is outside. The officer's voice is calm. The inmate listens carefully. He is given his personal items, things taken from him many years ago, laces for his shoes, a small bag, basic clothes, paperwork that explains what happens after release. Some inmates feel emotional at this part. Some do not. But almost everyone feels the weight of time. Before he leaves, he goes through one last check, one last search, one last signature. Then the walk begins. ADX Florence is shaped like a giant X. Every hallway is long, straight, quiet, and smooth. As the inmate walks, he notices echoes. For years, those echoes belonged to others. Today, they belong to him. He passes thick windows with steel mesh. He passes quiet rooms used for monitored phone calls. He passes the heavy doors that lead to the outdoor cages known as recreation areas. But he isn't going to any of these places now. He is heading toward freedom. Two officers guide him to a secure transition wing. This is where inmates sometimes stay for a short time before being moved to another prison, or, like today, released to the outside world. He waits in a room where the walls are plain and the air feels different. It's not the air of solitary confinement. It's just normal, open space. He sits down and feels the chair under him. Even the chair feels strange after so many years alone in a small cell. When the door opens again, a counselor steps inside with calm eyes and a careful smile. She talks to him about life after prison, about rules, about things he must avoid, things he must remember, things that will help him stay safe. She explains what freedom means after decades in a tiny room. She tells him people change fast. Technology changes fast. Even the world outside looks different. He nods, trying to imagine it. A phone rings in the next room. He jumps a little. The sound is so normal, but he hasn't heard a normal phone ring in years. The counselor waits patiently as he steadies himself. She hands him a small envelope. It contains something simple but powerful. Papers that declare the prison's hold on him is ending. After reading the first few lines, he blinks slowly. He reads the lines again and again. His hands shake, but only a little. Finally, it's time. They escort him through more doors. He hears each clank behind him, but he doesn't turn around. The officers walk him to a final checkpoint. There, another officer signs a form and nods. A door opens in front of the inmate. It's not a prison door. It's not a steel gate. It's just a normal door leading outside. And sunlight spills through it. Real sunlight. Warm sunlight. For the first time in decades, the man steps through a doorway with no bars above it. He looks at the sky, big, wide, and bright. He looks at the hills around him. He looks at the empty road stretching far into the distance. But the silence still follows him. After years in ADX Florence, the world feels too loud, even though it is quieter than the prison ever was. Freedom does not feel like a shout. It feels like a question. His first steps are slow, careful, uncertain. Some inmates leave to meet relatives. Some leave with no one waiting. Some go into halfway houses to learn how to live again. Some simply stand outside for a moment, unsure of what to do next. But all of them share one feeling. A sudden, strange quiet inside their minds, as if the echo of ADX is still with them. He adjusts his clothes, holds the small bag in his hand, breathes in the mountain air. It feels sharp and cold, but real. A car pulls up for him. Not fast, not loud, just steady. He walks toward it, opens the door, sits inside. As the car drives away, he turns his head to look back. ADX Florence stands behind him, still, silent, unchanging. A place built for control. A place built for safety. A place built for separation from the world. For many, it is the end of the line. But for him, today, it is the end of a very long chapter. The road in front of him stretches far. The world outside waits. And he rides toward it, leaving the quietest place in America behind.